Yo, what is going on, guys? Digirex here, and today I'm coming at you with a brand new video. And in today's video, I am actually going to be comparing Hunter subclasses for the Trials of the 9. I did this in Destiny 1 with all 3 classes, and of course this weekend was the first weekend of Trials, and of course I went flawless. So now, Destiny 2 is a little bit different because it's a lot less reliant on your abilities. It's much more reliant on your gun skills and what weapons you have, because abilities and supers come much less often, but your subclass still does definitely matter when you're in Trials. You definitely want the right fit for you, especially now it's 4v4 and there's different game modes, it's not just elimination, so it does change things up a little bit. Alright guys, so getting into the first, thingamabob of the subclass, the first ability really, and all Hunter subclass have this, is the dodge and the marksman's dodge and the roll. So now, I would definitely recommend the marksman's dodge for things like Trials. The roll is only really effective for getting away from things, and even then they can still shoot you, or for recharging your melee when you roll close to an enemy, but you shouldn't really be that close to an enemy to where you have to roll to recharge your melee. That's pretty close, and you most likely want to be sticking with your team, and if you're team shotting one guy up close with your team, you're most likely not going to be rolling in the middle of a team shot or something like that. So the marksman's dodge, you can obviously dodge in and out of cover with it, which can be super useful. It throws people off. I say it doesn't have as much as a dodge effect as the roll, but you can still definitely throw people off. They will miss their shots on you, and it instantly reloads your mag, so you can get out there shooting some more. So I would definitely recommend the marksman's dodge, just because in my opinion it is much more efficient in a more reserved game mode like Trials. So I would definitely go with marksman's dodge, and like I said, that's on every subclass. So now moving into grenades, there's really not too many great options, I feel like, for Arc Strider. Obviously, I would go with Arc Bolt or Storm Grenade. I would not go with Flux Grenade. Sticky Grenades aren't very good anymore. I mean, they don't even one-hit anymore, and it takes kind of skill to stick people now. So unless you have some magical way to carry 2 Sticky Grenades, excuse me, I'm a little bit sick, I would not use Sticky Nades. I would have to recommend you to go with Skip Grenades. They help you in any gunfight. If it's a one-on-one gunfight, you are definitely going to win if you have a Skip Grenade on them first. Although Arc Bolts can chain to multiple enemies, and you probably should be sticking with your friends in Trials, they just don't do very much damage, and I think Skip Grenade is definitely the way to go. But with, say, Gunslinger, there are a few more options. So now, in a game mode like Countdown, you can actually try to use trip mines to, well, actually trap the bombs. Although, Trials is going to be rotating through Survival and Countdown. Maybe we'll see a little bit of elimination, who knows, they haven't said anything about that yet. But I would probably not go with trip mines, just because most people are going to see your trap if you try this. It's just an interesting thought. I would definitely go with incendiary grenades, because you can still be aggressive with trip mines, but they're just not as good as they used to be, and incendiary grenades are just a steady, balanced medium that are still very good. And one thing I really like about incendiary grenades is that if you get it on somebody and they have a burn, you can see the numbers through walls, so it gives you a little bit of x-ray vision while they are burning, which I really like, and that's just an added bonus of the incendiary grenade that a lot of people really don't seem to notice. And then we have swarm nades, which really aren't that great. You can't play that aggressive with them. People kind of have to step in them to be effective, and overall I would recommend incendiary grenade. It is a pretty powerful nade, especially for Trials. And that brings us to Night Stalker, who really has a good number of grenades, except I feel like a lot of them have been nerfed. The spike grenades really aren't as good as they used to be. The void wall grenades were never really exceptional in PvP, and that leaves us with the vortex nades, which I think is the best option. They do a ton of damage now, but again, you can't really play that aggressive with them. They're great for holding off choke points, and they're great for playing defense, but they're not really good for playing offense, but I would have to go with them. Overall, I think Night Stalker has the weakest grenade choice, but that's just me. Now bringing us to melee, Arc Strider has very close range encounters. They can get their health back off of melee, but obviously I don't think that this is very useful because, like I said, you're probably going to be sticking with your team a lot, not meleeing too much. There's a lot of long-range reserved engagements in Trials, which I think you're going to want to stick to and stick with your team. So I really don't think Arc Strider's melee is very good for this. Then we have the Gunslinger's Throwing Knives. So the Gunslinger's Throwing Knives can be effective. They're very, very nerfed from Destiny 1. But you can still be effective with them. In this gameplay, I hit a few people with throwing knives. I always go for throwing knives just because you can get a little bit of extra damage on them, and that is going to pretty much guarantee you the gunfight if you have your aim on. And overall, throwing knives are good. You have to be decent with them to be a little bit effective with them. So if you have the skill, if you use throwing knives in Destiny 1, you can still rock it in Destiny 2 and be successful with it. And that brings us to Night Stalker, who probably has the best nades. Obviously, they have the Envenom nades that you won't be getting the Wombo combo as often, although the nades are still very useful. The smoke bombs are very useful for zoning. You can play offensive. You can stick people with it. You can trap bombs with it, so you can see when people approach bombs with the snare perk. They're very useful for a lot of things. Now, obviously, they won't kill them, but they're a lot harder to see on a bomb than a trip mine because they're much smaller. So if your smoke goes off, obviously you know someone's on that bomb. Now, let's bring us to supers. I think Night Stalker has the best melee for Trials, or should I say smoke bomb. But the supers, you don't get them very often, but you do get them occasionally when the games go on for a longer amount of time. Obviously, if you just wipe a team, you're probably just going to get one super per game. That's how a lot of my games went this weekend, where we just totally 6-0'd teams. And I only got my super for the last round, really. But there were some games that came down to like the last round. We both at 5 points, and I got multiple supers in a game. I got 2 supers, one pretty much halfway through, and then one at the end. So supers still do matter, and they can still be very significant. So we're gonna start off with Arc Strider, and Arc Strider is just the worst super in the game. You really can't catch up with anybody, and in Trials, people are just going to team shot you down or use their supers to shut you down. It's really not that effective, especially in Trials where they're just going to team shot you down because they're going to be in a team anyway. They're going to be all together formed up, and they're just going to shoot you down, and you have to be aggressive with Arc Strider, and like I keep saying, that doesn't really go with the reserved kind of Trials playstyle we have here. So Arc Strider is very, very ineffective. Now we are going to Gunslinger, and Golden Gun I still think is a very strong super. So now obviously it doesn't last as long, and you can't one-shot out of supers unless you get a precision hit, but I still do think it's a great super for shutting down other supers, and you of course get 3 shots. You would not want to go with the 6 because it only lasts for a few seconds. You want to take advantage of your 3 shots. And they can be really good for a quick round. Obviously, you can't wipe the team with a Golden Gun anymore, but you can definitely get 1 or 2 and totally shift the round in your favor. So that now brings us to Night Stalker, and I don't know if I would use Quiver or just the regular Night Stalker bow in PvP. Although with Quiver, you can make very aggressive pushes. You can be super aggressive with your arrows. You can wipe the whole team, potentially. That's probably not going to happen, but potentially you can wipe the whole team. Or even if you don't wipe the whole team, you are still going to have a lot of people tethered. So it's not that bad, especially for Countdown, where full defending teams are going to be on bombs, or full attacking teams are going to be attacking bombs. You can probably get some 4-man tethers with this, even if you use Quiver or with the other one. And it is super effective for shutting down other supers, but I think Golden Gun is just a little bit more effective. You can be more aggressive, you can kill people a little bit more easily, and you can still have that ability to shut down supers really easily. So overall, guys, I think that the Gunslinger is the best subclass. This is just my opinion, and I'm telling you guys my opinion. I did videos like this in Destiny 1. The one on Warlock, in fact, is my most viewed video. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. Yeah, I definitely do think Gunslinger's the best. It's got decent nade, if not a great nade, because you can see through people through walls pretty much after you hit them with it. And then you have if you are skilled with throwing knives, you can definitely make them count. You can win a lot of your gunfights with throwing knives. And then it has an amazing, amazing super for Trials. You can be aggressive. You can shift the whole game in your favor. You can shift the entire momentum of the game in your favor with a with a good golden gun. So now Night Stalker isn't a terrible choice either, and I would never choose Arc Strider just because the super is basically useless. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, subscribe for more Destiny 2, Overwatch, and For Honor content. I will be pumping out some more Destiny 2 videos this week, so keep an eye out for that. And I hope you guys enjoyed the video. This has been Digirex. Peace.
I'm open to mind, so we all need some time just to settle down. Won't you come around, cause I never can leave it alone. Talking about somebody rolling, boulevard dining, making it count for efforts I can't explain. Ballin' and feeling we drowning, never been humbled by playing the fighter.